welcome back to The Thoughtful Advocate. I'm your host, Elizabeth Teo. Today we're going to be talking about perfectionism, but not in the cute productivity type of way. I'm talking about the kind of perfectionism that comes from trauma, from growing up in a home where being less than perfect felt dangerous. If you ever felt like you had to hide a big part of yourself to feel accepted, or worse, to be safe, then you're not alone. And this episode is for you. What perfectionism meant growing up. I grew up in a Chinese household where perfection wasn't expected, it was demanded. I wasn't allowed to talk back. I was expected to help everyone else before myself. And if I cried, I got hit. And yeah, when I got my timetables wrong, I would also get hit with chopsticks, which wasn't as bad compared to the other things that happened. Crying was a huge sign of weakness. And I understand that my parents are immigrants, so for them, showing no emotions, not crying, showed that they were strong. So I understand they wanted to make us strong and to make us smart. So, they would force us to do our timetables, but it was traumatic. There's a very vivid memory I have in my mind right now that is painful, but I've talked about it a couple times now to my therapist. Yeah. So when my brother was a baby, he was crying a lot one time, and my dad threw him on a couch. And this is hard to say, this is even harder to say because I have a son. So I feel even more now. Obviously at the time I was shocked. I think I was like 7, and I remember trying to run to the phone to call the police because I was like, what if he dies? Well, what am I gonna do? And no one else was really home except for his mom. It was hard. Luckily, after that, he stopped crying. Yeah. I remember my dad threw my baby brother on the couch for crying too much. Like, how insane is that? And I was terrified. So I remember running to the phone to try to call the police because what if he dies? And the only people that were home was my dad and his mom. So there was nothing else I could do because I was literally blocked from the phone. And luckily nothing else happened after that. I think my brother stopped crying, but it was very scary. And obviously because of that, I saw how dangerous it was. And because of that, I saw how dangerous it was to show that kind of emotion in that household. So I just kept it all in. So I just shut it down. No emotions, no crying. No voice, no softness. Just performance, just survival. And here's the thing about Asian families. A lot of them do well in school, but studies show that Asian kids specifically are more prone to perfectionism because parents just expect too much from them. Now, being the good girl wasn't just about being polite. It was about making sure my family looked good to everyone else around us. But here's what scientists have found. When kids go through something difficult at home, they often think they're only worthy if they are perfect. Trying to be perfect is literally how they stay safe, how those patterns protected me. Perfectionism became my armor. If I could do everything right, then I wouldn't get hit, right? Maybe I'd finally feel safe. I became hyper aware of everything, my dad's emotions, other people's emotions, their needs, their wants. That consumed me. I didn't even know who I was or what I needed at that point. I tried to be useful, quiet, obedient. I got good grades. I made myself small. And in that environment, it worked. But even as perfect as I tried to be, I still got hit. I still got berated. And let me tell you how deep it stuck with me. In middle school, I remember feeling really sick to my stomach, like I was going to throw up every time there was a standardized test. And the thing is, I didn't understand them because in regular classes, you're taught formulas, right? Math is just a formula, X, Y, and Z, not words. So it really confused me. And yeah, I remember going to the nurse's office multiple times because I really hated the idea of failing. And math always gave me huge amount of anxiety because I was trained to repeat the times tables, but then if I get them wrong, I would get hit. So I believe my brain felt like it was dangerous if I get the answers wrong. And I didn't do so well on these tests. I almost failed one of my math classes, and I remember my parents being pretty disappointed in me, so that also really hurt. But honestly, in middle school, I just got by. Like, I was really trying to survive because my grandma just left my safety net. So I was crumbling. And middle school is hard in general because it's just an awkward teenage year where you don't know who you are and you don't know who you want to be. It was just overall a bad time. But then in high school, everything changed for me. I found my people, I found my crew, I found my safe space again. And we all worked so hard. It drove me to actually try because everyone around me was trying. I wanted to try even more. But this was to the point where if I didn't get close to 100%, then I would feel like a failure. And the perfectionism crept up again. It was screaming at me to be perfect. Another thing that really drove me was I wanted to prove my father wrong because he would call me stupid every single day. So I was like, okay, I'll show you. And I felt this huge need to overthink before I speak, to act perfect. When in reality, none of us really are. We're human, and that's okay. Eventually, I became valedictorian for 3 years in a row. But here's the thing about being valedictorian. It didn't really make me happy. Funny enough, it made me strive to be perfect in every single area of my life. I wanted my father to really recognize me or see me. But even when I would show him my report card full of straight A's, he would smile, maybe laugh, maybe give me a word or two. We'd go back to normal. And that's what happens when your goals are to please someone else. You're trying to make someone else happy, not yourself. And it was no wonder why I felt so empty and defeated inside. Now, of course, being valedictorian gave me a lot of perks. I got a full ride scholarship to the University of Washington, Seattle, and it's ranked number 7 in terms of research universities in the world. But, of course, I did not want to go there. My friends, my safety net, the only safety net I had for me emotionally and physically, were leaving. They were going to Western University, which is way further up north. And honestly, they're all I had. They're my emotional safe space, and I didn't have that at home. I had this deep fear that if I don't go with them, then I'm going to lose everything. There's no way I'm going to find this kind of group of friends again because my high school was made out of 400 students in total, including every single grade, and university schools are huge, thousands of students. So how would I find friends again? Especially friends who are this tightly connected. And this became another big part for my attempt to end my life, which you can hear in episode 6 of the Thoughtful Advocate podcast. What I understand now is that perfectionism comes from the feeling of feeling ashamed of yourself, especially after going through so much trauma as a kid. And the research shows that perfectionism is deeply tied to having trouble dealing with your emotions and childhood trauma, which I have both, so it makes sense. I was never taught on how to deal with my emotions. I was only taught to just keep them buried, and eventually they came boiling up. My perfectionism wasn't a character flaw. It was a way for me to cope. It was how my inner child was figuring out how to survive, how they hurt me now. But here's the thing, I'm not in the house anymore. I'm in another country, far away. I'm safe. And those same patterns, they've stayed with me for a long time. And honestly, they're burning me out. I wanted to share my voice, my story, my life with you, but I felt this deep need from the past to make sure everything's perfect before I post. And so that led me to not posting at all and not even starting this podcast. I had this vision to start this podcast probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I held back because I was like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time to make it perfect. But I realized that it's not going to be perfect. Nothing is. And as long as I share my story authentically and bare my soul to the world, then that's enough. And honestly, I just want to feel seen, and I want other people who are going through the same situation or have been through the same situation to feel heard and not so alone. So I hope this connects us. And I'm starting to let go of the lie that I need to earn love by being useful. I'm starting to let go of that lie that I've been told over and over again. I need to earn love by being useful. I'm letting myself be soft, emotional, because that's where the magic is. And that's where the resistance is. I'm sharing my story because I know the exact opposite thing that they would want. And I want to use my voice and show that vulnerability, emotions, it makes you stronger. And my past therapist would tell me that understanding where perfectionism comes from, specifically for me, childhood trauma, it helps us be kinder to ourselves. It helps us cope. I'm practicing saying I don't have to be perfect to be powerful. I don't have to be polished to be loved. I'm not endangered for being seen anymore. I'm learning that my imperfections aren't things to hide. They're how I connect with people. They're what make me human. They're what make me real. And they also let other people around me feel safe for being imperfect too. And slowly I'm learning to trust that I can be loved for just being me. And if any of this resonated with you, I want to let you know that you're not alone. You're not broken. It's okay to be imperfect because we're human. We're not meant to be perfect. We're meant to be free. And you're not behind. You're healing. Your imperfections are your connection points to other humans in this world. They're where your magic flows from. That's where your people find you, through your imperfections, through the cracks in your mask. To anyone listening who felt like they had to be perfect growing up, I see you, and I'm here for you. Your survival strategies made a lot of sense. They kept you alive. And now you get to choose what you do with your life. So here's an affirmation I'll leave with you today. I'm safe to be seen. I'm free to be real. I am loved just as I am. Thanks for listening to this honest and tender episode of the Thoughtful Advocate podcast. If you felt this one, please hit that subscribe button and share it with someone else who needs a reminder that they don't have to be perfect to be worthy. You can follow me on Instagram or TikTok at The Thoughtful Advocate for more content like this. And until next time, stay thoughtful, stay soft, and stay real.